Hey guys, Swampfox Mike here, and I'm going to do a series of 3 videos on shooting with pistol dots. Pistol dots are all the rage right now. Lots of people are adopting them, but a lot of people have questions, reservations. They have knocks against red dots, and I'm going to give you some advantages of red dots on pistols in the first half of the video, and then in the second half of the video, I'm going to address some of the perceived disadvantage of red dots on pistols. So if you're on the fence and you're wondering if a red dot on a pistol is the right choice, then this video is for you. I'm going to start out with the advantages. The biggest advantage of shooting with a red dot on a pistol is the ability to shoot target focus. So what's that look like? Here I am. This is a picture that I took recently at the range. The top image is a Smith & Wesson snubby that I've got. It's a very challenging gun to shoot well. And I'm doing what has been drilled into all of us, which is focus on the front sight, focus on the front sight. That is the way to get best accuracy for most of us with iron sights. Some people can shoot iron sights target focused. If you can do that, you're going to like dots even more. But most of us have to focus on the front sight, which means the rear sight is a little bit fuzzy and the target area is a lot fuzzy. The picture below is a Sentinel on my Canik Elite SC, and that is the target's 7 yards away. And as you can see, I'm focused on the target area. So I can see very clearly the plates that I'm trying to hit on a plate rack, or the suspect that I'm worried I might have to shoot, what's he got in his hand. I can look right at the thing that I am shooting at or that I'm considering shooting at, and my eyes don't have to bounce back and forth between front sight target, front sight target. I can just look at the target, and it's way easier. As distance increases, this advantage gets even bigger. And that is where the smaller point of aim that a red dot offers comes into play. So here are targets at 50 yards away. Let's say I have to take a shot at 50 yards with a pistol. I'm in law enforcement. I'm doing an active shooter drill. Target's 50 yards away. I don't want to run away and perhaps get shot in the back at 100 yards, which is an easy shot with a rifle. I don't want to have to close distance on a guy with a rifle. That's brave, but not exactly a great plan. Let's say that I have the opportunity to take a shot at 50 yards and it needs to be a good shot. Would I rather have the iron sight picture up top, which almost covers the target entirely, and I have to focus on the front sight and the whole target area is fuzzy? Or would I rather have the red dot underneath where I can see above the target and below the target and I have much better situational awareness? I'm focused on the target itself and I have a 3 MOA dot there that only covers up 3 inches at 100 yards. So I can actually see that I'm aimed very squarely in the center of mass on that IDPA target that I've got there. It's a much finer point of aim. And at a distance, it makes a huge difference in your practical accuracy. The mechanical accuracy of the gun doesn't change. Obviously, the gun shoots whatever it's going to shoot, but your ability to access the inherent accuracy of your pistol is way boosted with a red dot. So, all right, so that's the difference. What difference does it make in real life? What does that look like? So I took a video of me shooting plate racks with irons and dots recently. So let's take a look at that. Now those are both top of the line Sig Sauers. They're X5s. One is the dot gun is a 320, and the iron sight gun is an old school P226 X5. They're both absolutely fantastic pistols. And the interesting thing about those runs is that in my brain they were the same speed because I was processing as fast as I could. Sight picture, squeeze. Sight picture, squeeze. Sight picture, squeeze. And because I didn't have any extra processing power while I was taking those shots, I felt as I was shooting that they were pretty much close to the same speed. But let's watch it again and I'll count it out. We'll count cadence here as I shoot. Ping, 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 ping. And now with irons, bang, 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 bang. So I'm almost twice as slow with iron sights on a 7-yard plate rack as I am with a dot. And you don't have to take my word for it. I'm not like faking this to try to sell more red dots. Ask competition shooters. Go online and ask people who shoot in competition with dots and with iron sights, and they'll tell you if they see a speed advantage. It's universally known. The speed advantage, even up close, is very real. Now I'm going to talk about some of the perceived disadvantages of red dots. So I just mentioned that speed is better with the red dot, but one of the biggest knocks and one of the most legitimate knocks against red dots on pistols is that your speed is worse. Well, how can this be true? When people say you're slower with a red dot, what they're talking about is draw to first shot time. And let me show you an example of what that looks like. So when we present the dot from the holster, from high ready, from low ready, this is what I see new guys do a lot. They come up, they throw the gun out there. I don't see the dot. And then they make this little swirly swirl with the muzzle. Okay, there it is. And I can start shooting. And obviously that's not ideal. That's not what we're looking for. So let me give you an example of a good presentation that my friend Aaron Trimble did for us here on video. Aaron's coming up from Sewell. He brings the dot up to his eye. He's not bringing his head down. He's not shrugging his shoulders. He simply brings the dot to where his eye already is. And that is one of the tricks, one of the secrets to acquiring the dot quickly. And I'll show you another trick that I've come up with that's helped me out quite a lot. So this is my 320X5. It's in that plate rack video, showing you that it's unloaded. What I find is helpful is I get a full grip way back here, high on the chest index. And then as I come up, I leave my head where it is. I bring the dot up to my eye, and the gun is still very close to my face. So because the gun is close to my face, the window is effectively larger, and I have a better chance of finding that dot quickly. Since I've already got the dot found, and I'm already pretty much on target, as I press out, my finger starts to curl down, and it finds the trigger, and it begins my trigger press. And as I'm pressing out like this, the entire time, I'm refining where that dot is aimed at. So I'm looking to press to drive the dot to the part of the target I want to hit. And right about at the time that I reach full extension, I break my shot because I've driven the dot to the part of the target that I want to hit. And that is something that's helped me out quite a lot. My piece of advice for everybody who is trying a dot for the first time and is trying to get over that learning curve of finding the dot quickly, dry fire practice is free. You've bought your pistol, you've bought your dot, you've bought your holster. Dry fire practice does not cost you any money. I know what ammo prices are like right now, right? Safely find a corner of your house that has a good backstop, make sure your gun's unloaded, and practice your draw to first shot time. Practice that pressing out over and over and over again. Do it 1,000 times, and you will find that you will find the dot very quickly. And as a bonus, you will get better with your iron sight shooting as well. You will be faster to find your iron sights if you can master your draw with a red dot. The other knocks I want to address on red dots are size, weight, complexity, battery life, durability, blah, blah. You see these all the time online, and some of them I think are more valid than others. I'm going to address the ones that are less valid first. So the size and weight issue is not as true today as it was 10 years ago. For those of you who are just now getting into this and you haven't seen the march of progress, let me give you an idea. I'm going to take you back in time about 10 years. This was what was state of the art about 10 years ago. This is a Tasco Pro Point on what I call a bridge mount because a bridge is over the top of the slide. These optics were state of the art 10 years ago. They were what you could get. They were very forward thinking for the time period. And they proved to a lot of people that dots on pistols could be a good thing. But obviously, no one's going to be concealed carrying this. You can't find a holster that it works with. They didn't go in law enforcement use at all. I can't imagine a cop having to carry around one of these things all day, every day. The battery life was not there yet. Where you saw these was in competition use and also in hunting. But they did their job. They proved the theory of red dots on pistols, and they proved that there were advantages there. Let me show you where we are having refined this over the last decade or so. This is our latest and greatest, the Swampfox Sentinel. Sentinel goes right on the top of a slide. It reciprocates back and forth with the slide. The shock forces of that slide going back and forth don't affect the zero. It lasts for thousands and thousands of rounds without any problem. The whole thing is about 1 inch tall and about 1 inch wide, less than 2 inches long. It's very easy to conceal and hide. Carrying with a Sentinel or one of our other dots feels pretty much like carrying an iron-sighted gun. It doesn't rub against your belly and cause you any discomfort. Very easy to hide. And the battery life on these is now 2 years for Sentinel. If you change out the battery every other Christmas, you're going to be fine. So that gives you an idea of how far we've come. These are made of 7075 aluminum, and they're hard-coated. They're very tough. And that brings me to my last point, the durability point. A lot of the people online are going, well, I don't want to trust my life to this thing. It's just going to crap out on me when I need it the most. And those people will often go with co-witness iron sights. And that's a great idea. I like co-witness iron sights. There's nothing wrong with that. But what we've done in our path to increase durability is come out with the Ironsides shield. So Ironsides is available for Liberty now. Justice and Sentinel, as of the making this video, are still in development. It is a stainless steel shroud that surrounds but does not touch the optic itself. You can see on that Terran Tactical Glock there on the left that there's less than a millimeter of space between the dot and the Ironsides. Ironsides helps against abrasions. It helps against knocking around stuff. Helps against drops. And if you're going to barricade rack it, if you're going to rack your slide using the optic instead of your hand or whatever, then when you rack the dot, you're actually racking against the Ironsides because it protrudes forward of the scope body. So it protects you against that. Really what you're racking against is the footprint that the optic is sitting on, because all the shock forces are routed around the scope and go right to the footprint. Not everybody wants this. Not everybody wants to pay the extra $50 that it costs. But if you're going to have, if it's a duty gun, if it's a concealed carry gun, if you know that you are hard on your equipment and your dot's going to have a tough life, then it's probably a worthwhile add-on, and it'll give you some extra peace of mind. So that is the path that Swampfox has taken to assuaging some of those doubts that people have about, well, what if I bump it up against something, or what if I want to rack it up against a barricade in the event of a malfunction, et cetera, et cetera. Get yourself an Ironsides and you'll be fine. Guys, if you like these kind of videos, I've got 2 more on the way. They're going to be super cool. Please hit that like and subscribe button. And if you have an idea of what you'd like to see us do a video on, let us know in the comments. We read the comments, and your idea might become a video for Swampfox later on this year.